Good morning, everybody. How's it going? I hope you are all, I trust you are all well, happy, healthy, wealthy, and all the above. Good morning. Good morning. Just dropped my kids off at school. I have a busy day ahead of me. I got a lot of stuff I want to do, lots of fun stuff. I'm excited. I was thinking about doing this all 3 days I was working. So, I really love this stuff. I really do. It's friggin' amazing. Okay, so today's a really good one. So, I'm going to say this again. Please share or like, and remember, it's not for my benefit. It's for somebody that needs to hear the message, like I needed to hear the message from somebody else telling me, and or sharing, not telling me, sharing the information with me in a way that I understood it to the point where I needed to do more research and read more books. I have 2 more books on the way. I love coffee for the taste. It's delicious. You get the dark roast. You get that aroma. I put hazelnut cream in there. Yummy. Okay, so today is, we finished up, last week we finished up effects of thought on circumstances, and this is effects of thoughts on health and body. So let's get into it. The body is a servant of the mind. It obeys operations of the mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the bidding of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay. At the command of glad and beautiful thoughts, it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. So, Nadia, hello. It's good to she disappeared. But anyways, that was my friend Nadia. So this paragraph talks about when your mind drifts to the negative things and you start to feel unwell, there's a reason why you're starting to feel unwell, and that's because you're telling yourself that. And when it comes to this and your health, you really got to be paying attention, because you know how everybody says, oh, you get sick because of it's cold outside. You get sick because of whatever. It just happens. Well, when you're about to get sick, what do you say in your head? What are you saying in your head? And then how often are you saying it in your head? So be careful of what you say there. And then it says, at the command of glad and beautiful thoughts. So you are commanding your thoughts it becomes clothed with youthfulness and beauty. So be careful of what you're thinking there. Disease and health. Next paragraph. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sick body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people just as surely, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body and lays it open to the entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will sooner shatter the nervous system. Wow. Take a minute to marinate on that one. I'm going to read that one again. Disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people just as surely, though less rapidly. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. The people who live in fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body and lays it open to the entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if not physically indulged, will sooner shatter the nervous system. Wow. Now, as I've stated, I'm no expert on this whole thing. I'm just kind of going through it, and this is my interpretation, so you take it, you interpret it the way you want to interpret it. But to me, that's telling me that, live your life without fear. Don't worry about a situation or an experience that hasn't occurred yet. Right? And I've said this a few times, like, why worry about something that hasn't happened yet? Right? Thinking into the future or whatever. Why worry about a situation that hasn't happened yet? Right? Today is today. Tomorrow is tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow will bring. You could have tomorrow all planned out and ready to go, but maybe certain situations or circumstances will change throughout the day. So it might not go the way you planned it to go. But how you adapt to those changes and how you present yourself to those changes is how it's going to affect the outcome of the situations and circumstances. But anxiety, I don't use that word. I don't use the word stress. I don't ever use those words ever. I never say I am stressed. Why would I want to say that? Right? I never say that. Ever. And I'm not going to talk about anxiety because that's a certain that's a touchy one for certain people. But to me personally, I think it's an excuse. That's my thoughts on that. Okay, next paragraph. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument, which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed, and habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it. So, it's talking about habits of thought, and I'm gonna bring back this thing here. 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% are negative. 95% are repetitive. Do you think your life will change if you continue that mindset? Why are you beating yourself up? It's like my friend Bobby Joe, she shared a video. She sent me a video. And I can't remember the guy's name. But he said, to a committed man, there is no such thing as failure. So he says, if you fall 100 times in a day, it doesn't matter. And then he said, to a committed man, there is no such thing as failure. Only 100 lessons learned. Right? So when something doesn't go your way, look at it as a lesson learned. Look at it as a learning opportunity. And one of the things that stuck in my mind is a problem is the opportunity for you to test your ability, your skill, and your knowledge. And that's the way you should look at everything. Because when you look at problems that way, you're looking at it in a positive way. And you look for the solution instead of acknowledging the problem and focusing on what the problem is instead of, focusing on what the solution could be or is. So, and then it says habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it, which is your body, upon your body. Okay, next paragraph. Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood so long as they propagate, Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood so long as they propagate unclean thoughts. Out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of a defiled mind proceeds a defiled life and corrupt body. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. Thought is the fount of action, life, and manifestation. Make the fountain pure, and all will be pure. So some of these are pretty straightforward. I mean, you got a good heart, you got good thoughts, you're going to have a good life. I'm not going to say the other, but I think that one's pretty straightforward. Okay, next one. Change of diet will not help a man who will not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires impure food. I used to be a hardcore, I used to eat a lot of candy, Slurpees. But now, even certain juice, I can't drink certain juices. I have to water it down because it's just too sweet for me. But I've noticed that I'm not eating as much junk as I used to. And, that's over the years, way back when, of course, I would, Slurpees and candy and pop and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I've had a 2-liter bottle of pop in my fridge and I haven't touched it. But I'm not saying that you got to cut out everything. Like I said in the previous one, everything in moderation, right? So, but you'll start leaning towards, when you say I am health, you'll start leaning towards more, fruits and vegetables, and you'll just pay attention to what you're eating and how much of it you're eating, right? Okay, next one. Clean thoughts make clean habits. The so-called saint who does not wash his body is not a saint. He who has strengthened and purified his thoughts does not need to consider the malevolent. Well, I'm not sure how to interpret that one. What did I put in my book? Yeah, I just wrote the first part. Clean thoughts make clean habits. That's what I wrote. Okay, next one. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. Thoughts of malice, envy, and disappointment, despondency, rob the body of its health and grace. A sour face does not come by chance. It is made by sour thoughts. Wrinkles that mar are drawn by folly, passion, and pride. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind. So when someone's talking to you, you know how when somebody gets mad, they gotta vent, and then they're venting to you. And I've looked back and, usually when people do that type of thing, you kind of go, oh yeah, and you kind of start getting mad too about it, and then all of a sudden it's just everybody's have you ever went to work or somewhere and you see one person mad, and then it's like if you go to a crowd and you have, let's use laughter. Let's use laughter because laughter is contagious, right? There's a video on YouTube or Facebook or whatever where a guy just starts randomly laughing on a bus, and then all of a sudden everybody starts laughing on a bus because of that guy laughing. Well, that's the same with negativity and positivity. If one person starts bitching, oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. My bad. Or apologies, I should say. When somebody starts complaining and whining about circumstances and all this other type of stuff, and they're doing that to another person, that person's now thinking about the person that was first initiated the whining, And now that person's whining about that person whining, and then that person whining tells this person about that person whining, and now everybody's in a mode or mood where everybody's whining about everybody whining or complaining about everybody complaining. And then it just never goes away because that's the focus, right? And I've changed. I don't do that no more. Heck no. I don't do that no more. And I apologize for using profanity. Yeah, so if you would perfect your body, guard your mind. So when somebody comes up to you and starts talking to you about maybe a negative experience or whatever, listen, but be mindful about how this actually just comes down to think before you say, think before you act, right? That's what this really is. Think about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it before you say it. And I've been working on that a lot, actually, ever since I started this. If you would renew your body, beautify your mind. So if you want your body to be healthy and the way you want it, beautify your mind. What do you think? What do you think about yourself when you look in the mirror? Are you thinking about, if you look in the mirror, are you pointing out all the flaws? Are you, focusing on, oh, you got some wrinkles here, or maybe you got a pimple here and a pimple here, or are you focusing on, whatever it may be, right? Or when you look in the mirror, do you go, damn, I look good. Look at me. I look good. I feel good. Right? That's kind of the attitude you got to have instead of beating yourself up. Thoughts of malice, envy, and disappointment, despondency, rob the body of its health and grace. That just goes back to 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, 80% negative, 95% repetitive. How much information do you receive a day that gets you excited? I find myself now when I go into a shop or a store or wherever, and whoever's helping me, give them a compliment. Give them a compliment. And just watch their mood change. I was walking my kids to school one day, and I seen this young guy, this young man, and he was wearing some sweet shoes. And I looked at his shoes, and I stopped my kids, and I'm like, "Hey kids, look at those sweet shoes! Like, they were sweet." I'm like, "Man, those shoes are awesome." And then we walk away. But as we walk away, one of his friends pointed out that we complimented his shoes. Next thing you know, he says, "Thanks, man." And then I'm like, "Yeah, where'd you get those?" And I was just talking to him. But then instantly, boom, his mood changed. And then when I was walking home from dropping my kids off from school, there's this one girl that walks on the street, and she has two-tone hair. It's like pink and blue. And I said, "I like your hair. Looks good." And just a smile on her face. Like, that's all it takes. Because I was reading... The next book I'm going to do is this one. And I was reading in here that people are so enveloped in a mental conversation when they're walking down the street that when you give somebody a compliment, you take them away from that mental conversation that they're having with themselves. And, watch their mood change. Just, you'll see it. I see it all the time. Every time I, give somebody a compliment or something, it changes their day, right? They're like, oh, they perk up a little bit. They smile. They start feeling good, right? It feels good to make people feel good. That's what that is. Okay, next one. I know a woman of 96 who has the bright, innocent face of a girl. I know a man well under middle age whose face is drawn into harmonious contours. The one is the result of sweet and sunny disposition. The other is the outcome of passion and discontent. So be happy. Be happy. Don't sweat the small things. Don't let things go. Let things go. That's the biggest thing. Let things go. I remember. So recently, I used to, tell my dogs to get out of the kitchen. Now I don't. I don't need to What? Why? Why? Because the type of energy that I was putting towards the dog, I wasn't mad, but it was a type of energy that was just like, get out of the kitchen. Right? Now I don't care. When we're eating, yeah, that's a different story. Go lay down. Go lay down. I'm not yelling at them. I'm not, like, it's that type of thing. Even with my kids, I notice, like, how when your kids are doing something, you always want to tell them to stop. Stop doing that. Don't do that. Why are you doing that? Clean that up. Give it a rest. Right? I have changed. My kids yesterday they were in the kitchen and they were throwing all this paper all over the floor. Whatever. Let them be kids. Right? Afterwards, I was like, okay, you guys had your fun. Now let's clean it up. Right? How you approach everything should change. Okay, next one. As you cannot have a sweet and wholesome abode unless you admit the air and sunshine freely into your rooms. So a strong body and a bright, happy, or serene countenance can only result from the free admittance into the mind of thoughts of joy and goodwill and serenity. So let the sunshine into your abode and into your mind. Even my house, like, since I've switched, all my doors are open in my house. All the blinds are open in my house, and because before it was like, I like it dark, blah, 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 whatever. Ooh, our shark's out. We have a sweet shark. I should show you guys it. Oh, no, he's hiding. His name's Sasuke, but he's huge. We had him and he was like this big, and now he's like this. Massive shark. Anyways, I got off topic. Anyways, yeah, so, let the sunshine in. Everybody says life is short. Well, it's as short as you make it by how you react and respond to circumstances of life. If you're constantly complaining and whining and, always beating yourself up, it's like I was talking to my brother the other day. You know what you guys should do every day is write down 3 things you love about yourself. What do you love about yourself? Right? And then, yeah, it's just all good stuff. It's all good things to do. It'll help change your immediate approach to the day if you start out by telling yourself what you love about yourself instead of thinking about work before you even get there. Thinking about, so when I go to work, I don't even think about what's going to be there for me. I wait until I get there. Right? And then I address the day accordingly. And I look at everything different now. I don't whine. I don't complain. There's no point because it doesn't get you anywhere. It just brings more of the same. So, okay, next one. On the faces of the aged, there are wrinkles made by sympathy, others by strong and pure thought, and others are carved by passion. Who cannot distinguish them? With those who have lived righteously, age is calm, peaceful, and softly mellowed like the setting sun. I have recently seen a philosopher on his deathbed. He was not old except in years. He died as sweetly and peacefully as he had lived. That's just one of the examples he uses. So let's go to the next one. There is no physician like cheerful thought for dissipating the ills of the body. There is no comforter to compare with goodwill for dispersing the shadows of grief and sorrow. To live continually in thoughts of ill will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to be confined in a self-made prison hole. But to think well of all, to be cheerful with all, to patiently learn to find the good in all, such unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven. And to dwell day by day in thoughts of peace towards every creature will bring abounding peace to their possessor. And, man, that's such a good one. That's such a good one. I like, just all of that one. The last one, but to think well of all, to be cheerful with all, to patiently learn to find the good in all, such unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven. And to dwell day by day in thoughts of peace towards every creature will bring abounding peace to their possessor. And, that's one of the biggest things I think we got to work on is what do we allow, so say you start a new job say you start a new job and, how can I go about this? Okay, so say you go and talk with somebody and this person starts telling you about a certain person that either you both know or whatever, or one person has met, and then they instantly start telling you the bad things about that person. Now, what do you start thinking? And this has happened to me. I've used this as an example to, some of the people I work with. But when you don't take the time to actually introduce yourself to someone who somebody else has changed your view or your thoughts on what that person could actually be like without ever meeting or talking or even approaching that person, you're instantly just going to accept what that person told you about that other person. So then you'll never fully understand what that other person is like. You are basing your assumptions on what somebody else has told you. And that's wrong. So if somebody comes up to you and starts telling you that, hey, that person over there is no good, blah, 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 they start saying all these bad things, don't. Use your brain and you choose. You go talk to that person, find out what they're like. Because you see it all the time. Like, the way I see someone and the way somebody else sees someone can be completely different. And it's amazing because that's what they're telling themselves in their mind. which is crazy. It's crazy that for so long, think of how many missed out friendships you could have based, solely on somebody else telling you to not talk to that person. Oh, that person's bad, or that person, whatever they're going to say. And then you allow that and you absorb that, and then you never really get to meet, like how many times have you, for instance, I'll use an example, me and my buddy Calvin, me and him are brothers. And I remember I was working at Kohler and I met him there, but at the time I didn't get along with his older brother. And so Calvin immediately didn't get along with me, right? But then we put that aside and we started talking to each other, and like we're best friends, like we're brothers now. Because we didn't absorb what somebody else said of each other based on what their opinion is. It's like movies too. Somebody goes to a movie and says, "Oh, that movie's no good," but then you go to the movie and you enjoy it. That's the same thing with people. People can say, "Oh, that guy's a, so-and-so." And then you're like, "Oh, I don't want to go talk to that guy. He's a so-and-so." Don't let that stop you. Because, if I would have went along with what I heard about, Calvin or whatever, look at, like, we have an amazing friendship. We are best friends. And to think that could have just disappeared because of somebody saying something about him or, certain situations, At the time, I may not have got along with his older brother, but, that didn't stop me from getting to know him more. So, yeah, it's, don't allow people to tell you what to think about somebody else. You go find out for yourself. Right? It's only 9:00. But, we got a couple more pages before we finish up. Oh yeah, we got quite a few pages. So let's end it with that today. And I mean, if you guys have any questions, if I don't have the answer to your question, I will. And that's the biggest thing about learning this type of stuff is you have to talk it out. You really got to talk it out and think about it and see how. That's why I have my office downstairs with my patio set inside. I want to be sitting down there with somebody and just talking about this stuff. So, like I said, my door is always open from 9 to 5, because as soon as my wife gets home, it's her time. This is my time to do my thing. When she comes home, my focus is her and my kids. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's reading. If you want me to go more in depth, some of those paragraphs I read were pretty straightforward. There was really no breakdown needed. But if you want me to go more in depth with it, I will. And tomorrow we will continue on with the next page, which is thought and purpose. This is a good one too. This is a really good one. Oh man, that's a really good one. Thought and purpose. It's all good. Every single page is good. But anyways, with that being said, I wish you all an amazing day. Every day's a new day. Don't live the new day in yesterday, because it's not going to be the same unless you choose it to be. So, have an amazing day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.